everyone, and welcome to Training Camp Wrap-Up, brought to you by the UPMC Health Plan. I'm Mike Prisuta, joined today by Craig Wolfley. And Wolf, we have a development, and no, it's not a potential trade with a potential team about a potential wide receiver. It's up front on the offensive line for the second consecutive day here at St. Vincent College. Number one pick, Troy Fautanu, getting the number one reps on the right side, and Broderick Jones splitting time on the left side with Dan Moore Jr. Oh, by the way, there's a game Friday night.
Yes, there is. And how exciting is that? Because you know that all these guys are getting prepped and getting ready for their first NFL action. I can remember way back 44 years ago. I say way back 44 years, just to get it complete. When I first was a rookie and just pointing at my first game, which was in the Meadowlands against the New York Football Giants, as they say. And that was so exciting. I couldn't wait to get out there and hit somebody in a Giants uniform.
New York Football Giants is actually the name of the team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because it was back when they used to have the baseball Giants.
Well, I thought I was bringing a little history here forward.
No, I appreciate it. Because,
okay.
You know, if you call the Giants today and you actually
answer.
get through, they answer. They say New York Football Giants.
Very good.
Little known fact that this is the kind of stuff you get here on Training Camp Wrap-Up. But back to the Pittsburgh football Steelers. Fautanu, projected, presumptive right tackle. It's been said by General Manager Omar Khan on multiple occasions, Broderick Jones was brought here to be a left tackle. Are we starting to see that picture come into a little bit clearer focus, or are we just taking a look at it to take a look at it?
Well, I really think the battle is going to be, you've got on the left side Dan, and, of course, you have Broderick. But the fact is, if Troy can hold down that right tackle spot, then it's really about what's Dan and what Broderick are going to do. And I love that. It's competition. Competition is the best way to decide anything. And when you got competition between three young, strong bucks, such as we have right now, vying for the tackle starting positions here, it's very exciting because you see them honing their skills each and every day. They come out eager. They got the youth, the vigor, all the stuff that you want coming out there as they prepare and practice. So it's a lot of fun to see these guys go at it because you're going to get their very best. They're going to put their very best foot forward come Houston Friday night.
Another element of that offensive line equation involves the second-round pick, center Zach Frazier from West Virginia. Now, Frazier has not gotten any first-team reps yet here at St. Vincent College. Mike Tomlin said today, those opportunities are coming. That's a direct quote from Tomlin, who went on to say, the speed in which it occurs depends on how you perform against those you are competing against. Tomlin doubled down and said some one opportunities are coming his way. What do you make of the speed relative to the effect that Frazier's performance against those he is competing against? Has he influenced that pace?
Well, he's picking up steam. I'm just watching. He's been coming along very nicely. Look, there's a lot to learn. When you're in the center position, not only are you dictating the front side and the back side blocking schemes, making sure everybody's on the same page, but when you get to pass protection, you got to direct traffic. You got to make sure you call out the mic. You have to make sure that you remember, above all these things going on at once, what the snap count is. Make sure you get it off properly. In doing so, you don't want to be running laps forever. You know what I'm talking about. The fact of the matter is,
I don't want to run any.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't even want to run around the desk here if I make a mistake. But the point being is,
we actually thought about instituting that policy, and then we said, nah.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
Yeah.
So Zach Frazier's come out. Look, you know that the skill is there. You know that the talent is there, and it's just a matter of time putting it together. But this I didn't know was how good Nate Herbig was going to perform at the center position coming into camp. He has done a yeoman's job. He looks like the complete veteran that they brought him in to be. He's tough. He's one of those guys that's going to show up in pass pro. He's going to be one of those guys that is going to be there on the duo blocks, quick enough to reach. He pulled the other day. He had a slobber knocker of a hit on somebody out in the open, knocked him, butt over tea kettle. Love his physicality and his, he's got that little bit of, I'm going to leave a little jelly on my work, a little bit of nasty about when he goes about his work.
Our buddy Max Starks said this morning on Training Camp Live that center position comes down to call, execute, and finish. And I reminded him that you had added, don't forget the snap count. And he said that was appropriate for you because, now according to Max, I have to verify this with you, he said that there was a time when you wrote, 0 and E on your shoes so you would remember which side was odd and which side was even.
Oh, Max.
Is there any truth to this?
Okay, can I? This
Based on the way you're capitulating.
It was taken out of context. Here's what happened. For a decade, I was here.
This is just Max. I'm the messenger.
Yes, I got you. So here I was for a decade. I could write a thesis on the trapping game here, and the Steelers were always even to the right, odd to the left. Okay. I go to Minnesota my last 2 years. They are one of two dadgum teams that flip it so that it's even to the left and odd to the right. So when you're in the middle of double sessions, when you're in the middle of being dehydrated, you're in the middle of being so tired you can hardly think. It's hard to flip things automatically, especially when you've been ingrained in this system as long as I had. So I did do that. Oh, man, Max, I'm going to kill you. He outed me, my teammate, my buddy.
Yeah, he's done that before.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the way it worked. I had a big E and O on the top of my shoes.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. All you had to do was look down.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Of course, wide receiver.
Didn't have to tell anybody.
Wide receiver remains a story here at St. Vincent College. The Steelers transitioning at that position. Our colleague Rob King caught up with Calvin Austin III after practice today.
All right, Mike, thanks very much, Calvin. First of all, how's camp going and getting ready for the first game?
Man, camp is going great. You know, it's always good to have the fans out here just bringing that extra boost of energy. But, you know, we're definitely improving as an offense. We're coming together. And I think one of the biggest things about training camp that you really can't emulate is the Steeler versus Steeler. I mean, we're going against a top defense every single day, so you can definitely just feel the improvement.
We talked to Beanie Bishop last week. He said you guys are getting acquainted, right, having lunch together and hanging out together. You guys see a lot of each other. It makes you both better.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And, you know, especially during OTAs, you know, I definitely say that, like, you know, I really wasn't losing any at all. But, you know, he's definitely just with the more work. Because, like I said, like, I'm trying to kill him every single time. But doing that is only going to make him better. And you can definitely tell now that, you know, when I'm lining up, he's definitely learning more, showing different and various techniques. So at this point, it's like, okay, now I got to learn how to, you know, counter this one, counter this. So just like I said, that Steeler on Steeler component is something that Coach T preaches. And like I said, we've just been trying to beat each other every time, and it's just continued to make us better. And you can definitely see his improvement.
It felt last year like you were used in somewhat of a limited role. A lot of jet sweeps. We kind of knew what was going to happen when you were out there. How do you like this offense? Does it seem more varied in the way you're going to be used?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Just, you know, more of a variety in the route tree, especially. Like I've always been preaching, you know, I'm a true receiver. So to see just the different ways that, you know, Coach Smith uses guys and get them into different formations and packages and stuff, I think it's going to be well for not only me but all of us, because we have many weapons at receiver and just on offense in general. And so Coach Smith is, you know, that guy that can put everybody in different ways and use them in different ways.
I've seen you working quite a bit with Russell after practice. You enjoy that?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
How'd that come about?
You know, as soon as he got here, he just reached out to everybody to begin with. And, you know, that's the type of guy he is. He's a leader that wants to bring everybody along with him. And so, you know, just from I think him looking at my film, he saw, you know, even it was limited last year, the things that I can do down the field. And, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm kind of around the same size as one of his favorite receivers in Seattle, you know. So Tyler Lockett was a guy that I watched growing up. And so, you know, just trying to pick his mind, pick his brain. He's been to the top. And, you know, the way that this ship is going to move is we have to have communication. And so he's just been great at communicating with all of us, and he's always looking for extra work. And so that's why, and I'm a walk-on, so, you know, when it comes to working, that's what I do. And so it just kind of meshed right along.
All right, so you're a Memphis guy. Last question for you. Went to University of Memphis, grew up in Memphis.
Yes, sir.
Favorite barbecue in Memphis?
Okay, so my personal favorite is Grill Master Chew. It's a new up-and-coming barbecue place. They got some of the best Alfredo, turkey legs, rib points, all of that. And also, I would say one and only barbecue.
You heard it here.
Yes, sir.
Mike, back to you.
You know, I'm not a Memphis native, but I've been to Memphis. Rendezvous for ribs.
Really? That sounds either one works for me, just as long as you point me in the right direction.
Easy to remember. It's one of those places I haven't been there in a long, long time. I assume it's still there, but after COVID, you never know. But
no, that's true.
It was one of those places with long benches and picnic tables. They just, how many? 4, 2. They just shove you in next to whoever is there. How many racks you want? And first time I was there, I did the large rack, and then they came by and said, "Will there be anything else?" I said, "Yeah, do that again." That's how good they were.
I can tell you this: I have done 3 racks of ribs in one radio show. Just saying. I didn't even have to work at it.
Well, if Mike Tomlin kind of provided his checklist for what he's going to be looking for in the preseason opener Friday night, it's not anything grandiose. It struck me as surprising. You remembered your first preseason game. Some of us talked to Russell Wilson after practice today. He remembered his first preseason game. But Mike Tomlin's not looking for anything memorable. He wants to see pre-snap football addressed. Penalties. Don't commit any. Make the adjustments correctly. Communicate properly. Make sure the motions and shifts are smooth and efficient. He wants to see his players put their conditioning on display. He wants them to, block and tackle, ball search on defense, ball secure on offense, and make routine plays routinely. For these guys that are going to be doing this for the first time Friday night, how tough is it going to be not to try to draw the spotlight or make a statement or a spectacular play and just play the game and let what got you here kind of come out as it does?
Well, the whole thing about it is you have to control your emotions. You got to control the adrenaline that's coursing through you. My very first play as a Pittsburgh Steeler was in the Meadowlands against the Giants. It was a trap play. Came screaming out, and I was full of vim and vigor, man. I was in the first half with Terry Bradshaw. To get in that early says something, right? So I'm like all fired up. And I come flying up, and Bubba Brown at right tackle, Larry Brown, and George Martin, the defensive end from the Giants, were there. And I guess they heard me coming or screaming or something as I'm running towards them, right? They step back, each one, and I roar right in between them and face plant like 5 yards beyond them. As I'm coming back to the huddle, Mike Webster goes, "Did you get anybody? Did you hit anything?" And before I could answer, Larry Brown said, "No, he missed me." So what I'm saying is, don't let the emotion of the magnificence of the moment as you step out for your first play in front of how many thousands of fans, your first as a Steeler, you got to concentrate on the job at hand. Don't get too caught up. And that's my story.
And remember, when all else fails, left is odd, right is even.
We had some issues back
then. Put it on a shoe if you have to. That's going to do it for us today. Don't forget another edition of Training Camp Live tomorrow. Until then, for Craig Wolfley, I'm Mike Prisuta. This has been Training Camp Wrap-Up presented by the UPMC Health Plan.